I'd like to talk about my approach to pre-production of a game, and my sort of theory is called find the fun fast. And basically, the idea is you don't know how good your ideas are until you play them. There's really no way to say, this is a great idea, it's on paper. Um, it's going to be super awesome when someone plays it, because I think even the best game developers come up with ideas that seem really good, but they don't really play as it was imagined. And I think this is a real problem in video games, is it's so difficult to imagine how a game idea will play until it's there. The mechanics are there and you can try it. So I think when you're approaching pre-production of a project, you have to find the fun fast, and you have to focus on all your development on the fun aspect of the game, on what makes your game good. Because even the best ideas, you never know they're going to be the best ideas until you can actually play it. And so, certainly with Retrograde, I didn't know the game idea was any good until I had prototyped it really fast, like a really simple, rhythm-based mechanic with enemy shots and player shots. And so I was able to get that up and running pretty quickly, and then it seemed like, hey, we're onto something. And then also with the Mobius proposal game, I was just sort of brainstorming ideas for things that I could make in terms of a game for my wife, and I had some ideas for puzzles, but I didn't know whether they would be interesting. And so basically, I decided I would try and come up with one interesting puzzle, come up with a tricky but thought-provoking puzzle, and that would be sort of my vertical slice. Because I think in order to find the fun fast, first you have to get your mechanics out there, and then you have to focus all your efforts onto making a compelling vertical slice. And so for the vertical slice, I think it's a bad idea to focus on the first level of your game, but also I think it's a bad idea to focus on a level in your game. I think for the vertical slice, you want to prove to yourself that you've found the fun. And I think this is a difficult thing to do, because when it's your idea and it's your baby and it's your pet, it's easy to say, well, when all the other elements are here, it's going to be fun. And I think in most cases that's not the way it works. You can tell if your mechanic is fun at the beginning or not, but it's very difficult, I think, to be honest with yourself. I think that's a big problem in game development, is that people aren't honest. They are so attached to their ideas that they don't see them for what they really are. And I think that the best game developers are the ones that don't have any sort of attachment to their ideas. All they care about is following the fun. It doesn't matter whose idea it was. It doesn't matter how many times they failed. They're just, willing to keep trying new things until they found the fun. And so I think in most cases it's pretty easy to find the fun. You can, put together something really rough, and you have to, be honest with yourself. Is this enjoyable? Is this not enjoyable? But I think for some games it's more difficult, because if you're working on a game and a lot of the fun is the mood or the environment or the story, I think these are more difficult to prototype, and so these are sort of more scary to develop, because you're basically have to go longer without proving to yourself that you can find the fun, that things are going to come together. And I think a lot of indie games are more based around gameplay mechanics, and I'm not saying that's bad, but I think it's because they're able to prototype these ideas and then figure out if it's good or bad. And so, but I think you really have to focus all your development effort on making the first ideas fun, and focus on the on then a vertical slice. And so I think it's difficult to say, like, hey, you know, I'm not going to make this game, I'm not going to build out the menus and the options and all these things that you know you'll have to have anyway before you or at least, you know, concurrent with actually finding the fun. But I think you should skip all that and just focus on the fun aspects, because the thing is, you don't know you're going to make that game until you found the fun. You don't know if that's the game you want to make, or at least you shouldn't. And I mean, certainly there's games that I thought would work out better than they did, and mechanics I thought would work out better than it did, and that's sort of just a problem with game development. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. And then also there's a Design of the Times, a game developer magazine from December 2012 called The 4 F's of Game Design, and it's similar in themes. There's some ideas basically about you know, trying to find the fun as fast as possible. So anyway, check that out if you're interested.